He's gone quiet now. Meghan joined him this evening, our sort of evening, and he shuts up. She's got the mic. Everybody heard that she did her own makeup. Oh my goodness! So she's just like an ordinary person now.
What happens when the very people you promise to support decide they no longer want your help? In fact, they decide your presence is actively harming their cause? This isn't a theoretical question. This is a reality Meghan, the Duchess of Sussex, is facing right now. And it's not coming from tabloids or online trolls. It's coming from a group whose opinion carries immense moral weight: international military veterans. In a move that is both unprecedented and devastating for her public profile, Meghan Markle has been officially and permanently removed from any role in the future Invictus Games. This wasn't a close call. It wasn't a bitter debate. Reports from inside the foundation describe it as a near-unanimous decision, a necessary step to save the event itself. But this story is much bigger than just one event. This decision by the Invictus veterans has acted like a key, unlocking a wave of pent-up frustration, not just from a charitable organization, but from an entire nation. Today, we're going to break down exactly how this happened. We'll look at the specific incidents that led to this point, the damning internal criticisms, and what this means for the future of Harry and Meghan's brand. This is a story about misaligned priorities, broken trust, and a final verdict that can't be spun by any PR team. Stick with me, because by the end of this, you'll understand why this isn't just another negative news cycle. It's a permanent stain on a reputation that is now hanging by a thread. Let's start with the core of the story, the decision itself. The Invictus Games Foundation, the governing body behind the international sporting event for wounded, injured, and sick servicemen and women, held a decisive vote concerning Meghan's future involvement. The result was not ambiguous. Insiders with knowledge of the proceedings have stated that this was not a difficult or contentious decision. It was presented as a matter of safeguarding the integrity and future of the Games. Veteran representatives from all the core participating nations, the United Kingdom, Canada, Australia, the United States, and European nations like the Netherlands, were in almost complete agreement. Think about that for a second. This isn't a board of corporate executives or entertainment managers. This is a group comprised of men and women who have served their countries, often enduring unimaginable physical and psychological trauma. Their currency isn't gossip or fame. It's integrity, duty, and a shared sense of purpose. For this particular group to reach a unified consensus against someone is a powerful statement. It speaks to a profound disconnect. The reasoning, according to leaks and reports, was strikingly consistent across the different national teams. They pointed to what they called ongoing issues with Meghan's tendency to, in their words, promote herself. An insider was very clear. This was not motivated by politics or by personal petty grievances. This was a cold, hard assessment of her priorities, which was seen as fundamentally misaligned with the spirit of the Invictus Games. The veteran contended that her involvement, particularly in recent years, had altered the very atmosphere of the event. What was conceived as a tribute to the courage and recovery of injured service members was, in their view, being transformed into a celebrity-focused media circus. And at the center of that circus, they argued, was Meghan. The event was becoming less about them, the competitors, and more about her. This sentiment didn't emerge from a vacuum. It was a culmination of years of growing frustration, a series of incidents that began to paint a very clear and very damaging picture for the people who run and compete in the Invictus Games. To understand the depth of this rejection, you have to understand the heart of the Invictus Games. Prince Harry founded it in 2014 based on a very simple, powerful idea: to use the power of sport to inspire recovery, support rehabilitation, and generate a wider understanding and respect for those who have served their countries. The focus is meant to be solely on the athletes, their struggles, their triumphs, their sheer grit and determination. It's about the soldier who lost a leg in combat now sprinting on a blade. It's about the sailor battling PTSD who finds focus and camaraderie on a volleyball court. The ethos is inclusive, team-oriented, and humble. It's about we, not me. This is where the fundamental clash began. According to numerous reports from event planners, staff, and even athletes, Meghan's approach was seen as the antithesis of this ethos. The most frequently cited example is the most recent event in Düsseldorf, Germany. Many pointed to this as a final straw, the moment where the internal criticism solidified into concrete action. First, her arrival. It was reported that she arrived significantly after the opening ceremonies had begun. In an event where timing and schedule are meticulously planned to honor the athletes, this was seen as more than just a minor faux pas. It was a disruptive act that pulled focus and resources at a critical moment. The opening ceremony is their moment in the sun, their parade. For a principal figure to upstage by a late entrance was interpreted as a sign of profound disrespect. Second, the media management. Her public appearances at the events were described as highly staged and controlled. She utilized a private team of photographers, limiting access for the general press corps who were there to cover the sporting events. This angered journalists whose job was to document the athletes' stories. Instead, they found themselves locked out, while curated images of Meghan were distributed separately. This created a two-tier media system, one for the actual games and one for her. Third, the on-the-ground behavior. Privately, a number of competitors and their families were said to be annoyed by the perception of special treatment. The Invictus Games are famous for their lack of hierarchy. A general and a corporal, both veterans, are equals here. The presence of a large, obtrusive security detail, separate entrances, and an overall bubble around Meghan was seen as going against the inclusive, accessible spirit of the event. As one veteran was quoted saying, it often seemed her primary goal was to gather publicity images rather than to genuinely connect with the participants. The media coverage that resulted from this was the ultimate proof for the organizers. News reports from Dusseldorf focused less on celebrating athletic victories and more on trivialities: what Meghan was wearing, who she was talking to, when she arrived, and when she left. The incredible stories of perseverance happening on the field were being drowned out by celebrity gossip. An athlete summed it up perfectly. We dedicate years to training for this, but the press ignores us if she is present. The situation in Dusseldorf was a final straw. Their years of sacrifice and effort were being rendered invisible by the glare of celebrity spotlight they never asked for. If the behavior in Dusseldorf was a final straw, the pattern behind it was built on something much more concrete: money. This is perhaps the most damaging part of the entire scandal, because it moves the criticism from the realm of perception into the realm of tangible financial impact. Leaked documents and insider accounts allege that Meghan's team presented the Invictus organizers with a list of participation demands. These requirements were reportedly so extravagant that insiders within the charity were stunned. They labeled them as completely inappropriate for a representative of a charitable organization. Let's break down what these leaks allege she required. 5-star accommodations, top-tier luxury hotel suites in central locations, completely funded by the event organizers. This isn't just a nice room. We're talking about the most expensive suites in the best hotels. Significant security, a dedicated, private security detail with multiple vehicles on standby for all her travel, again, paid for by the charity. A personal grooming team. The event was expected to cover all costs for her personal hairstylist and makeup artist, including their first-class flights, their hotels, and their per diems. Custom catering, custom-prepared meals made to her specific preferences, even at large group functions, and meals that were intended for the athletes and their families. Now, let's just pause and let that sink in. A charity, which relies on donations and sponsorship to fund its programs, was allegedly being asked to bankroll a level of luxury that would be more suited to a movie studio promoting a blockbuster film. The internal criticism of these demands was fierce and morally clear. Staff members argue that every dollar spent on these extravagances was a dollar taken directly from programs meant for the athletes. This is money that could have been used for better adaptive equipment for competitors, improved housing and travel for athletes and their families, funding rehabilitation programs year-round, expanding the games to include more nations and more veterans. A staff member was quoted with a devastatingly simple statement: "Our purpose is to help veterans." The implication was clear. Meghan instead expected everyone to help her. She was acting not as a humble supporter, but as a high-maintenance VIP who viewed the charity as a service provider. This created a terrible ethical dilemma for the organizers. Do they give in to these demands to secure her attendance and the media attention she brings? Or do they hold firm to their principles and risk a public relation fallout? For a while, they seemed to choose the former. But the resentment built. The Dusseldorf event proved that the cost, both financial and moral, was simply too high. A crucial part of this story is the role of Prince Harry. As the founder and public face of the Invictus Games, his influence is immense. The event is his brainchild, his proudest achievement, and a direct result of his own military experience and his passion for helping fellow servicemen and women. According to several accounts, high-level organizers and trusted advisors did approach Harry after the Dusseldorf event. They sat down with him and explained, in clear terms, the harm they felt was being done to the event's reputation and morale by Meghan's participation and the drama that surrounded it. They reportedly pushed for her involvement to be significantly scaled back or more carefully managed to align with the event's goals. It is reported that Harry heard their concerns. He listened, but critically, he did not take firm or effective steps to address them. The internal belief is that he was caught in an impossible position, wanting to protect the integrity of his project, but also desperate to avoid a major confrontation with his wife. His inaction, however, was seen as a choice. By failing to intervene, he allowed the situation to fester until it reached a point of no return. The veterans and organizers felt they had given him a chance to solve the problem internally. When no solution came, they took the matter into their own hands and solved it permanently. An insider stated this with brutal clarity. We warned him this would happen. He failed to intervene, and now the choice is final. This paints a picture of a man who has become powerless within his own foundation, unable or unwilling to bridge the gap between his wife's world and the world of the veterans he so passionately champions. This failure to lead at a critical juncture has resulted in the effective firing of his wife from his own project, a humiliating and very public outcome. Now, this story would be damaging enough if it were confined to the Invictus Games. But it's not. It has acted as a catalyst for a much wider rejection. At the exact same time this was unfolding, Meghan's public standing in the United Kingdom has collapsed to its lowest point ever. Recent surveys and polls from multiple reputable sources in the UK show a clear and devastating picture. A rising majority of British people now believe she should not be allowed to return to any royal duties or public roles. This isn't a small margin, it's a tidal wave of negative opinion. It's crucial to understand this shift is not primarily driven by diehard monarchists or royalists. It's based on a widespread loss of confidence among the general public. To many in the UK, Meghan no longer represents modernity or change. She now represents personal drama, self-centeredness, and a rejection of the very institution she had initially embraced before then publicly criticizing. The publication of these damning poll results coincided perfectly with the news of her Invictus removal. The timing couldn't have been worse for her. The UK media instantly connected the two events, presenting her firing as a direct reflection of the country's overall disapproval. Headlines splashed across front pages like "Veterans have spoken" and "No Invictus role for Meghan in 2027" weren't just reporting news. They were reinforcing a narrative of irreversible decline. Royal experts have been quick to note that this is the first time she has been officially and formally dismissed from a royal-affiliated institution. This isn't a family argument. It's a corporate-style firing. That fact adds a historical significance to the event and provides a sense of finality. So, where does this leave us? Why is this different from all the other negative stories that have swirled around the Sussexes? This is different because it is official, documented, and permanent. Unlike a gossip magazine story that fades next week, or an internal family conflict that might be patched up one day, this is a verified decision. The vote is documented. The Foundation's vote happened. It's on the record. The opinion data is public. The poll numbers are available for anyone to see. The verdict is unified. The message from both the veterans and the British public is clear and consistent. The Invictus Games ruling is more than just bad press. It represents a major shift. It's a line in the sand drawn by a respected institution that has declared her presence toxic to their mission. For someone whose entire post-royal career is built on the currency of influence, high-value partnerships, and being a public advocate, this is a catastrophic blow. Losing the trust of a military community is devastating. Losing the goodwill of an entire nation is even worse. Together, it's not a minor problem. It's a professional extinction-level event. The 2027 Invictus Games will proceed with a new, stated focus, putting competitors first. Officials have announced this means no celebrity guests, no glamorous side events, and no outside stories stealing the spotlight. While public announcements never mention Meghan by name, the message is deafeningly obvious. Her departure was a necessary first step in saving the soul of the event. As one high-level official stated privately, this is a charity event, not a film premiere. It's about honoring service. We strayed from that goal, and we're correcting it now. This story is complex and has huge implications. It's about more than royalty. It's about accountability, priorities, and the true meaning of supporting a cause. What do you think? Was the Invictus Foundation right to remove her? Could Prince Harry have done more to prevent this? And does this mark a turning point for the Sussex's brand? I want to hear your thoughts in the comments below. Let's have a respectful and thoughtful discussion. If this deep dive helped you understand the layers of this story, then please do support this channel. Smash that like button. It really helps the video reach more people. Subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell so you don't miss our next analysis. Share this video with anyone you know who follows this story beyond the headlines. We work hard to cut through the noise and bring you the facts in a clear, direct way. Your support makes that possible. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next video.